People, deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you've all got a spring in your step as much as I am. You know, why I'm in a good mood, I actually don't know. I mean, as long as you've got life, as long as you're still breathing, you should have gratitude in it and be in a good mood. Definitely in a better mood now that I see allegedly Arsenal are trying to make progress in relation to signing a creative midfielder, or specifically Martin Odegaard on loan. Apologies as well, people. What was that? There's a plane going off outside. It just sounds mad in the headphones. But like I was saying, apologies. Yesterday, I tried to kind of instantly react to those news. I like you all know, if you're here in the UK, we had a terrible day in terms of rain and wind. And in the region I live in, since I've been doing live streaming, I've clocked that it affects me. Now, yesterday, I bought an Ethernet cable. So if worse comes to worse, that happens, we'll just stop the wireless business and try and just progress like that. And hopefully that's that. In relation to Martin Odegaard, I'm going to get into it in a second. And like you lot, of course, I hope that it's true in some capacity. We need a creative man. You know, Smith Rowe is doing his thing, and rightly so. There's talk of a new deal, and who doesn't like an academy player doing their business? But the reality is, you know, Smith Rowe is 20 years of age. He hasn't made 100 appearances for Arsenal. In fact, you know, in general, I think he's made 22 or so appearances for Arsenal. That's probably close to his loan spell at Huddersfield. Now, it shows how talented he is and how good he is, but it also shows the unhealthy pressure that we might be putting on him. Because like you saw against Palace, when he has an off day, when Saka has an off day, which they are allowed to, they're young men, there's players that aren't going to stand up to be counted. And we, as I keep saying, Arsenal fans, we need a quality first 11, like an 11 that, you know, obviously top class, world class players, hopefully, and just some competent players. We're a long way away from doing that. The next step is obviously depth, because like you've seen, if Aubameyang isn't scoring, if Lacazette is hot and cold, if Pepe's doing this, if Martinelli, Saka, and Smith Rowe having the occasional off day, we struggle. We need players that pick up the slack. So I'd love Odegaard to sign for the club. Now, before I get into it, let me see what you lot are saying. But before I forget, people, you know, and I think, you know, since maybe God works in mysterious ways, because since I've tried to do this live stream with you lot, you know, in the last couple of hours that's come, like I said, I tried to do this in the evening yesterday. You've actually seen, you know, we already know Zidane has a lot of pressure on him at Real Madrid. There's a lot of question marks over the players, and they were dumped out of the cup yesterday by a third tier side, putting more pressure. Now, if I'm Odegaard and I've only played 10 times and the manager isn't using me, and I might think Zidane is on the brink, you know, if you think he's going to leave this month, would you necessarily leave the club on loan or permanently? Because you might have somebody, you know, a new manager, you know, Zidane might not mess with you like that. But the next Real Madrid manager, he might think Martin Odegaard is the best thing since sliced bread, you know, and all that matters is the manager's opinion. We all, listen, Willian doesn't deserve to catch a straight, but we all think Willian isn't good enough for this thing, what we're trying to do at Arsenal. Our opinions don't matter. The one guy who makes the decisions, Arteta, I'm not going to go as far as to say he thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread, but he thinks he's amazing, so he plays games. So there might be that. Now, for me, if I'm Odegaard at 22 years of age, if I've only played 10 times this season, I'm going out on loan. There's rumors of Seville and all of these things. We're going to get into that in a second. Jacob, I have been reading the comments, and he has indirectly, I heard him speak about somebody, you know, we got a snake out of the club or something. And I saw his comments in relation to Odegaard. He obviously is going to play coy and say, oh, you know, we can't speak on players that aren't at our club. Obviously, there's some legs to it, people. And everybody and their nan is adding their 2 pence into this whole Odegaard debate, you know, the Ornsteins, Athletic, you know, all the in the nose on Twitter, Sky Sports, everybody's having their own saying. Like I said, depending on where you read or who you read from, Arsenal have a genuine chance of getting him. Arsenal's interest is genuinely real. You know, he's actually going to go to back to Real Sociedad. Apparently, they're negotiating a buy option with that. So again, could Arsenal, if we do get him, can we secure a buy option? Because as much as I'm on Odegaard, and realistically, we knew that we was getting a loan more than anything, something does, and again, it's vindictive of where we are as a club, but something just doesn't sit right with me developing players for other clubs. Now, if he can help us in the short term, you know, it's a relationship of convenience. We give him a platform to play. He's around other young players. I won't go as far as to say a star, but I want you to be a leader amongst men. You've been at Real Madrid. You know, we should be seeing the Real Madrid quality sort of thing. So there's obviously that, and playing games and developing. He's 22. He's been at Madrid since 16, 17, highly rated from 10 times. Last year, sold a bit of quality at Sociedad, went back to Madrid, and everybody thought, yo, this is now his time to shine. This is the mark of the beginning. You know, he's only 22, but it feels like he's been around forever. He's almost a veteran. So we'll have to see what happens. But just before I get into that, people, I've got all the thoughts I didn't want to forget off. You know, I appreciate that some of you have been waiting for this live stream for hours now. So I appreciate everyone. Christian, I saw your, you know, big up everyone that was in the comments yesterday as well. And sorry I couldn't do the live stream, but Christian, I saw you here from early. Big up yourself. Live from Planet X. This comment warms my heart. Been looking forward to this all day. I appreciate that, my guy. JA has said, big up DG, work rate is amazing and quality of the content is great. I appreciate you, JA, and I hope to continue to give you such quality that you're acquiring and whatnot, people. Give me a second. I've been so excited to actually come on this live stream, people. I've actually, well, I've done it now. I actually, you know, normally can monitor the health of the live stream. I've actually set up that tab now. Like I said, love to all those in the comments. Who's that pretty young man? Crazy, you know. Lock your wives up when you see I bring that back. You know, when you see a display picture like that, is serious. Look at that, professional and them thing there. But yeah, moving away from that, Andreas is saying, I would love to see him come to Arsenal. He's a quality player. Fair play, fair play. We all would. AM is saying, big up the nation. Hit the like button while you're waiting. You know, hit the like button. It doesn't cost a thing, people. The best things in life are free, and it really does help me. You know, hit the subscribe button as well. It should be in the bottom right. But if you're gonna do nothing, please make sure you hit the like button. Big up yourself, G, as well. You know, I'm happy to see you all back. Big up yourself as well. Morning, bro. Nice to see that you're up early. Big up, always up early, always trying to chase my goals. Hit up the like button, smash up the like and whatnot. South London's finest, you know, you're back, man. I see you in a lot of other live streams. You ain't been showing the man them no love, but it's nice to see you're back here. You know, it's appreciative. I really appreciate all of you locked in, people. Man said DG Hollywood with the professional headshots. Oh man, yeah, I did see it, man. Big up Rice. You know, Rice seems to like rice and peas, and now he's on the jollof. Now he's on the jollof stuff. So big him up, man. Big up Declan Rice, man. He's a cool guy and whatnot. So it is what it is. Leah said, morning deluded. Let's get him now. Hopefully we can get him. SS said, DG, your work rate is crazy. Did you watch the Man City game? You can see those players are proper hungry, fighting for the league. Yeah, man. You know, I couldn't believe it was a scoreless draw for so long. And then I know a lot's being said about Tyrone Mings, and was it Rodri coming from an offside position? Obviously, Bernardo and Gundogan saved the day, but I did think it was offside. It was crazy, people. So looking at a lot of the comments, a lot of you are feeling Odegaard. A lot of you want him and things like that. And it would be a good option, you know. Ideally, he would start ahead of Smith Rowe. Not because I don't rate Smith Rowe, it's because we should be bringing in man that are better than what we have. If somebody's, as much as I love Smith Rowe, he is inexperienced. If you're not going to bring somebody in to hit the ground running immediately that isn't better than him, what is the point, sort of thing? So again, should be someone that starts ahead of Smith Rowe, someone Smith Rowe can compete and start ahead of course. But primarily that's that. So if we flick the screen, we've got a lot to get through, people. Let's go with the first article I actually came across, and that was Sky Sports, people. I hope you all like the little touch. You always get onto me and say, why is there no yellow bar? Can't you see a little yellow bar now? Arsenal have made an approach to Real Madrid for attacking midfielder Martin Odegaard. I even put in brackets Sky Sports, and you knew I had to make sure you lot never forget to smash the like button, and of course don't forget to subscribe. But I hope you lot can see that perfectly. Let me zoom in a little bit. But as you can see, it's the same, you know, copied and paste. As you can see, Arsenal have made an approach to Real Madrid for attacking midfielder Martin Odegaard. The Norway international is expected to be granted his wish to leave on loan this month for regular football. Real Madrid is currently considering the latest proposal from the London club. Now, I'm going to go on to it, but we're not the only club that's interested. Sociedad want him. Apparently, Seville want him. There's probably a whole bunch of other clubs that are in for him. You know, apparently, and I'll get onto it, Edu, this is the second or third time Edu's tried to get him in recent weeks, you know, so there might be some interest. But to play devil's advocate, you know, are we too late in the race? Is he going to become a Sociedad player? You know, because that's the one place you went to, they played you. Definitely. Again, you could come to Arsenal and play games, but man could say, and Ceballos has been talking about it, but I would look at Ceballos' situation if I was Odegaard. I'd say, yeah, he's won FA Cup, he's played a lot of games, and I know he's out of the match day squad for being injured, but has he, you know, been afforded that real game time? If I go back to Sociedad, you know, I'm gonna play games, I'm gonna keep feeling important, you know, and a part of me feels, are we too late? You know, are the agents and the media outlets leveraging Arsenal's need for a creative midfielder and alleged interest in Odegaard to somewhat drive up offers and kind of force him to Sociedad over the line? I don't know. But apparently Real Madrid are currently considering the proposal. Like I said, one spanner in the works could be if, and I don't know Real Madrid's situation. I don't expect, as a fan that don't know, I don't expect Zidane to be sacked anytime soon. Anything can happen. But you'd imagine it's all subject to change. Real Madrid could change their mind at any moment. If Zidane gets sacked, you'd imagine the new manager at least wants the luxury to see everybody in the squad. And that new manager might say, do you know what, Odegaard, you're my guy. In the same way he might say you're not. So that's something to consider. Zidane's future could potentially impact this. Apparently, Arsenal, who have already failed with an approach for the midfielder, face strong competition for Odegaard, including at least one other Premier League club. Well, he always signs for Manchester United in My Football Manager, so maybe they're in for him. But I can't imagine. As we know, it's a loan move, so we'll have to give them a loan fee. And like I said, for Real Madrid, they find for someone that's not getting game time, they can send us to him. We've got a decent relationship with them in relation to Ceballos. You know, it's a relationship that helps all parties. Madrid could get a player first team football. Arsenal could get a creative midfielder to help ease the burden. And obviously for Odegaard, potential game time, the lure of the Premier League, the chance to somewhat, like I wanted to see from Ceballos, you come here and you play to the level where we're almost calling Real Madrid stupid for allowing you to leave. We're sitting here and saying, what, you mean Odegaard only played 10 times for you? And you had him and you didn't play him. That's the sort of thing I wanted to see Ceballos coming with. I wanted Ceballos to play to the level. Well, I'm not criticizing Ceballos, but I wanted him to play to the level where it's almost he's doing Arsenal a privilege. You can evidently see that he should be playing 1 or 2 levels up. Haven't necessarily seen that from Ceballos. But again, it's the same logic that will apply to Odegaard for me personally. Now, I was reading The Athletic, and this is what The Athletic said, and it might correlate, you know, it might correlate according to you lot's opinions. It might not. But The Athletic understands Arsenal are one of the strongest contenders to sign him until the end of the season, along with Real Sociedad. He spent last season on loan at Sociedad, while other clubs are thought to be in the mix. It is believed that technical director Edu instigated negotiations last week, but Arsenal are now facing competition from Sociedad. Arsenal already have a player on loan from Real Madrid in Dani Ceballos, with open lines of communication between the clubs. So this tells you that, again, first and foremost, that what I and a lot of people weren't unsure is can you actually get 2 players on loan from the same club? And we know you can't do it from the Premier League point of view, but it's irrelevant in terms of, you know, the Spaniards. So again, we could leverage this decent relationship. It's the second loan spell Ceballos is on. You know, we've previously been linked with Vecinius and all of these things. So again, that might help us and whatnot. And I would love Odegaard. You know, you play him in that free role. Again, you could play him in a couple of others. He's 22, so I'm looking at you almost to be a leader in this squad. We've got an average squad age of 24 or 26, one of them. So you're that mid-age range. You know, you're what? He's more or less the same age as Tierney. Tierney might be 2 years older or something like that. So I'm looking at you to be a leader. Like I said, I see you playing for Real Madrid, regardless of how, you know, 10 times for Real Madrid. Some man don't even get there. Played for Real Madrid, plays for Sociedad. I want to see you come in, and that might even make Smith Rowe go up even other levels, because Smith Rowe, even if I don't think he's complacent, but he might be thinking, yo, I've made it now, 20 years of age, I'm playing week in, week out for Arsenal. You see Odegaard come through the door, you're going to be like, oh no, I got to fix up. And, you know, even if you don't necessarily play as a creative midfielder, if you play in the creative role on the left, on the right, or up front at Arsenal, everybody's form or how everybody's playing directly impacts each other. You know, if Aubameyang's not doing the job up front, he's going to move to the left-hand side for Lacazette. He moves to the left. That means Saka and Martinelli got to be shifted around. That means there might not be no Pepe. That might, you know, in recent weeks, that might mean you have to do something with Smith Rowe. You know, Smith Rowe actually was behind Joe Willock once upon a time in the pecking order. So again, competition can be good. And, you know, those two specialists, you know, I'm not a fan of Joe Willock in the 10. He's a pivot. You know, for me, Odegaard and Smith Rowe in that role, they would work well. I do think long term, actually, Smith will be able to play in a pivot, and I think Odegaard could do it as well, and whatnot. And we'd have some decent options. For me, you could go with Odegaard in that withdrawn role, even though I'm not really sold on it. You could potentially partner him with Partey and then put Smith Rowe, and then you've got 3 progressive players, ball players on the field somewhere. Obviously, you can make numerous examples with Ceballos and things like that. But, you know, that tells us that, 1, you can get him. This tells us that, 2, Edu is on the case. You know, fair play. Negotiations started last week. We're not too sure of the capacity. I don't know if this means that it's Edu leading the charge and saying, yo, this is the man I'm getting, Arteta. this is who you're gonna get, or if Arteta is saying, Edu, go out and get me him, or if it's a mutual understanding sort of thing. Maybe Edu suggested him and Arteta's went, you know what, I'm on that, or Arteta suggested it and Edu's gone, you know what, let me try and see what I can do in that regards. And again, you know, we ain't got money. January is a difficult time to do business, or we allegedly ain't got money. This is probably one of the best we could do. It was, you know, we all had hope for the Shabazlai and the Buendias and all of these guys. We knew Awawa, who's actually been allegedly, there's some Arsenal news in that as well. You know, we knew it was dream chasing to get a player on a permanent basis. You know, it was, you know, we've been linked with Odegaard, we've been linked with Isco, we've been linked with Ericsson. Out of the three, personally, I'd rather Odegaard, not to be ageist or anything, but the other two just scream damaged goods, been there, done that sort of thing. Like, you can't really cry about Mesut Ozil and then go and sign Ericsson. It's going to be the same thing on loan. Obviously, I think Ericsson's a baller, as do I think with Isco, but Isco ain't played too much. You know, physically, how much is he lacking? A bit of research suggests that his wife has had a child, so maybe he don't want to move, or is his headspace in the right way of is his headspace in the right place? You know, having a child is a physically demanding thing, as well as obviously physically he's not played too much. So where is his physical fitness sort of thing? And I'm happy to see this because obviously, you know, quarantine is stopping Mesut Ozil right now from officially being confirmed as a Fenerbahce player, but that's all but done. Socrates' contract is gone. Obviously, Kolasinac has gone out on loan. You know, these three were players that aren't there or part of our plans. Saliba's there long term, but he's gone on loan. So we've seen some outgoings, and hopefully we see some more. And you know, we need to bring in a creative man. They basically said they're looking for that. We need to bring in a creative man. It's as simple as that. Personally, people, we need the minimum I wanted to see was, you know, if you can go out and get a traditional 10, fair play. I would have liked to have seen an 8.5. I knew that wasn't going to happen. For me, if you can get Odegaard and bring me a backup goalie, you know, a competent number two, as difficult as it is, I can't really complain, people. Apparently, as well, Zidane has already approved Odegaard's exit on loan, with the Norway international keen to play first-team football. As you lot know, he's made 10 appearances for Real Madrid this season. Real Sociedad wanted him back on loan in the summer and were told no. They were asked to be informed if things change. Things have changed. So for me, if I'm Odegaard, I'm not going to lie. The lure of the Premier League, you know, Ceballos probably has good things to say. You've got a Spanish boss who, you know, you've gone from playing La Liga to playing under a Spanish boss. There's, you know, young players are getting chances. There's plenty of reasons to sign for Arsenal. You know, for me personally, I'd probably go to Sociedad because you've got to take risks. I could have stayed at Sociedad for another year, stayed there permanently. My dream, like Ceballos and all these other men on loan, is to play for Real Madrid. At a time, you know, I watch La Liga here and there. I'm sure he was playing week in, week out at a time. I don't know what's happened. It ain't happened. You know, you're playing 10 times. It is a risk at Arsenal, but would it be? It's still a risk to go back to Sociedad because things could change, but surely it makes more sense to go back somewhere where you was playing 100% because you got to go. You've seen Ceballos in and out of the team. You know what's happening at Real Madrid. Surely it makes sense to go back to Sociedad where you're playing, where they love you, you know, where they've got less of a budget, so you are going to play and just play games really and truly. So who knows, people? It's nice to see Edu's on the case, but we're firmly in the mix with Arsenal and Sociedad are the only real teams. You know, there's other teams speculated. We hear other Premier League teams, we hear Seville, but it just seems that they're the only two teams with concrete evidence. I forgot to mention this, but yeah, this is what could help us. You know, he's young, he needs love. He seems like a player that needs an arm over the shoulder. Maybe Arteta can provide that. As we already know, at the time, I didn't know if it was that. It's become clear that it's a loan move, but can we include an option to buy? If Sociedad can do that, why can't we, sort of thing? Obviously, if you do that, there's an element of resale value if he becomes the player that Real Madrid bought him to be long-term. A perfect age and perfect profile, 22 years of age is good. You know, it's a good short-term and medium option for me. It could also be a good one in long-term if you go out and bring my man into the club. So we've spoken on what the Athletic has had to say, people, in relation to being into the mix. We've spoken about Manchester Sky Sports. This is what the Daily Mail has said. Apparently, you know, Arsenal open talks with Real Madrid over loan deal for Martin Odegaard and hope the good relationship with the Spaniards from the Dani Ceballos deal will help them as they face stiff competition from La Liga duo Sociedad and Seville, people. And at 22 years of age, he needs to play. You know, if you're not ready by 19, you never will be. And that doesn't mean he's not. It just means your opportunity at Madrid's looking at madness unless something happens. Because arguably, in my lifetime, I can't speak for no one else, but this is probably the less star-studded Real Madrid I've seen, the less sort of, you know, when the very fact of, I think of Neymar, Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, with exception to Messi, but you get it, like the biggest players in the world. Obviously, Madrid have some, but they're not the ones I've just said immediately, they're not there. So if you can't really get game time in that, where it's been a new era for Madrid, again, Zidane is where it is, but it could, it makes you think. Apparently he's a boyhood Liverpool fan, people. I don't know for this fan stuff, because I heard Theo Walcott was an Arsenal fan growing up. I heard he was a Liverpool fan as well. Who knows, people? It's nice to see Edu's on the case. Personally, I like to see us explore South America a bit, but maybe we don't have the finances to commit to a permanent offer. Ceballos apparently said young players need to play regularly. At Real Madrid, I needed to know that I would have equal opportunities. I was obsessed with playing again. I wasn't getting minutes, but I realized it was best to work and reverse the situation and to be important with another club. If I do this, I'll play again. It couldn't have been any clearer. So maybe that's talking to Odegaard, people. As you can see, it says, I can tell you what happened to me at Madrid. I don't know exactly what will happen with Odegaard, but it's obvious that any player who wants to succeed at Real Madrid is going to grab the opportunity he has, people. So again, and it's gone on to talk about how we was linked with Buendia and all of these sort of things. So the Daily Mail didn't really cover it as extensively as I would have imagined. Keek Marine, people, this guy, Spanish-based guy, again, I'm not in the know, but I see his name pop up quite frequently. Sports journalist. He says, Odegaard has asked to leave Real Madrid. A return to Sociedad is very advanced. It's the team he wants to join, but this time the loan includes an option to buy. So maybe that's where he wants to go, allegedly, so maybe Arsenal are too late. Maybe Arsenal's interest is being used to leverage something out of Sociedad, whether that's more money for a loan fee, a more commitment in terms of his wages, if they are paying any of his wages, maybe in terms of committing a higher option fee in terms of at the end of the season, if you say, all right, cool, we want to keep him at Sociedad, you got to give us X amount. We don't know. This is very tough times in terms of negotiations. On one hand, I do think Arsenal are interested, because we all probably expectation in Arsenal was dangerous, but we probably all expected a bit more movement in terms of when we saw some outgoings, and definitely within the last week or two of the January window. If not, question marks. And again, I'm prepared to shut up until February the 1st, January the 30th. If nobody's here, then question marks, because like I said, Smith Rowe's a bad boy footballer and I love him and he deserves his new deal. But again, he's still a young man. What happens if he gets injured? God forbid. What happens if he's going through a tough patch of form? Because like you see, right now, it's the honeymoon period. When you're playing well, you're playing very well. But when you have negative moments, sometimes it's not just the occasional bad game. Sometimes you're in a bad patch. And that's why, for me, I'm so big on a squad, on a squad, because it's 38 games in the Premier League. And however many else, if you're playing in the FA Cup and Europa League, and we're not Champions League and the rest of it. So again, this probably puts a spanner in the works. I'm sure a lot of you are probably excited listening to me until you saw this. So who knows, people? Big up AFC stuff as well. Big up ZR AFC as well. All of these accounts do a good little job of covering everything. I actually didn't see this. Let's see what this is saying. Apparently, David Ornstein on Szoboszlai said it would have taken time to adapt. Arsenal are looking for an immediate impact from the market. Odegaard will take time to adapt, and there's only 4 months of the season. He will only agree to join if he's guaranteed regular playing time. On one hand, I would sit there and say, yo, Williams getting regular game time. You need to bust some more, demand them. Ornstein, again, it doesn't really make sense for me, because who's more like, Szoboszlai, again, they're both going to take time. They both never played in the league. I think they'll both be good players, but I don't know if that's Arsenal's genuine thinking. I think you just got to be honest and say you never had the money to commit to Szoboszlai, because it don't make sense for me. I'd rather, surely it's more of a risk bringing in a man on loan to the end of the season, mid-season, when your team has, turned a corner but not playing well. Surely that's more of a risk to see an immediate impact versus someone like Szoboszlai who would take time. And to be fair, the way our squad is, I'm sure many fans would have more time with Szoboszlai finding his feet. So I'm not too sure that makes any sense. For me, it just simply comes down to money, because you don't know Odegaard's going to make an immediate impact. I hope he does. It's for the benefit of me. I rate him, but I just questioning that logic. And apparently, but Emil Smith Rowe would suffer as a result. This deal only makes sense if it includes an option to buy or obligation. I'm not too sure if that's his personal opinion or what, but here he is anyways, people. So yeah, who knows what is going to happen, people? Who knows what is going to happen? Apparently, Arsenal have followed the Norwegian since he was a teenager. I mean, everybody and their nan was the man was like 16. Everybody was looking at him. Of course, everybody was looking at him. And they rate him highly as everybody does. After allowing Ozil to leave, they're looking for a creative midfielder and have considered various options. Isco was among these options, but he was reluctant to move after his wife gave birth. So that correlates to what I was saying earlier. Apparently, as well, people, this is Arsenal's second approach for Martin Odegaard in recent times. The first one was rejected by Real Madrid. The latest one, made within 48 hours or so, is being considered by Real Madrid. The key difference this time is that the player is expecting to be allowed to go on loan this month for regular football. Apparently, once again, another guy has said Sociedad is the Norwegians' favorite destination, and contacts between the two clubs have begun, as well as others. Didn't mention anything about a deal with Sociedad being agreed or close to completion. So again, depending on where you read, Arsenal are in for him. There's no chance Sociedad are going in for him. If you read something like this, it's a free throw. There's plenty of reasons to go to Sociedad. Arsenal have a chance. Go out there and convince him. And for me, I would like to see us get an obligation to buy, not an obligation, an option. Because if it doesn't work out, cool, take your guy back. But if it does, I'm on that. He can help us. There's resale value. There's someone that can help us as well in what we're trying to do in the rebuild. And with all due respect to Sociedad, because they're doing quite well, if Sociedad can get a buy option or a clause, we can. Personally, that's what I believe. So who knows what's in those regards, people. Away from that, though, apparently, according to this publication, Arsenal Lazio in talks with Arsenal over Squadron Mustafi. I'm not going to waste much time on that because apparently Mustafi is wanted to stay by Mikel Arteta. So we'll have to see. What's SS? This is beaky, boy. I don't know what that SS business is. Jim White's comments. Just bringing in things to help correlate this for you. Arsenal have approached Real Madrid for Norwegian attacker Martin Odegaard. The 22-year-old wants to go out on loan, but other Premier League teams are interested in him. Obviously, again, I don't know these other Premier League teams, but I'm sure they've all got their merits in their own rights. As you can see, it's been quite the journey for him since leaving his homeland. He's been at Heerenveen, I cannot pronounce them, but the team in Holland. He then went to Holland with Vitesse. I'm sure he fully started to certify himself when he was at Sociedad and he showcased himself. But for me, he can play in a couple of roles. I think long-term, as he matures, he could be a deep line playmaker if it required. He can play as a traditional 10 and he can do the wide playmaker thing. He's still not the most of experienced individuals at 22 years of age. To not really have 100 appearances under your belt at any clubs, for me, is a bit concerning. Nonetheless, he's only played 11 times for Real Madrid. He's played 36 times for Sociedad. In a good season, he got 7 goals, 9 assists. So that's a decent return. Obviously, at Vitesse, he did his thing as well. 39 appearances, 12 assists, 11 goals. That's a good return. Found it very tough in his first spell in Holland. Again, that might be down to age or whatever. If you look at just league statistics in the area Divisie, he's had 125 goals in 69 appearances. So that tells you there's some ability there. In La Liga, he's had 110 goals in 39. So there is ability there, but he can improve. And like I said, I'm sure he was playing at the start of the season or he was getting a look in. Maybe this is what I'm alluding to, people, around this sort of period. As you can see, or better yet, I hope you can see, as you can see, at sometimes his sort of progress has been disrupted by injury. So this tells me it's a mixture of, injuries, the way the team is, and ultimately the manager don't really trust you, or maybe you've lost his trust because, again, you were starting. Like I said at the start, I'm not watching La Liga religiously, but I'm sure he was playing week in, week out, and he looked to be a revelation. As you can see, he got his look in against Sociedad and Betis. He was then on the bench, and then the mad thing happened. He's had some injuries, and he's never got a look back in the side for whatever reason. So there is a good base level. That not going to come here and be the messiah, but we're not going to get a player like that. We just want him to help us along with our quest, people. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. In relation to Zidane and Zidane's future, we don't know if he'll be, if the only thing that could tip this in a negative way for Sociedad, Arsenal, Seville is if a new manager comes in, and think, because naturally you might put things on hold for this new manager. You might say, do you know what, these men are not leaving unless it's abundantly clear they have to keep it moving. Zidane himself, you don't know. He's, these are his comments in relation to losing to the third tier side. This sounds like a man that's probably on his last legs or could be losing. He said, when you lose, you always talk. I take responsibility, and whatever has to happen will happen. I'm very calm. The players wanted to win the game. They try, and sometimes different things happen. You have to resume responsibility. I'm going to resume it. The players have tried, and if we score the second goal, it is another match. Football is like that. The goalie has made 2 or 3 saves and didn't allow us to score the second goal, but I have the responsibility. We are out. So again, it's not, Zidane might be gone, people. Zidane Lidge might be gone, so that might put a spanner in potential works. I think we've already covered this via the Daily Mail, but it's on my tab, so I'll recircle this again, people. As Danny Ceballos, maybe if we were to look at it another way, am I wrong in playing devil's advocate, people, and suggesting this is coordinated? You've got Ceballos talking about it in an area we need to address, and a player that we would like. Ceballos kind of chatting to his boy, and another man in the same situation like him. Really, both want to play for Madrid. As it is the same comments. I'm not going to read it again, people. But again, that might be something that entices Odegaard, because when I look at it, I wouldn't describe Ceballos is necessarily a regular. I think he's played his way into regular fixtures, but I wouldn't say he's a regular sort of thing. I would have thought that after getting into the side last year, he would have started and, kind of gone on a level, but it's more or less the same thing. But, if Odegaard just looks at that, 24 appearances, Ceballos has enjoyed a regular role under Mikel Arteta with the Gunners making 24 appearances with the Gunners, making 24 total appearances this season after he was also a common fixture last season in his first campaign. Looking at it was Rolf Tint, and I'm a bit surprised, people, because to me, I'm sure many Arsenal fans like me, you're surprised Ceballos has played 24 times. But again, Odegaard, all you got to do is look at the maths, minutes is currency, and he's played 24 times. Again, you can't really see his specific minutes, but 24 times. You've played 10 times this season, 11 times based on transfer market in total for Real Madrid. Go out and come here and go get some football, people. And Arteta's being quite coy on stuff, people. This is more for when we review when we review Southampton versus Arsenal preview. But again, Arteta on transfers, he said, we are in that process right now. We've done the first part, obviously trimming the squad, more or less. And now we are focusing on the second phase. So what does that tell you? It tells you we shouldn't get too excited, but it tells you that now, because we've got some outgoings, and whether that's due to freeing up space in the team, homegrown spots and the rest of it, finances due to wages, clearing spots for the squad, whatever reason, it tells you that we've somewhat got rid of players. So now we can kind of focus on bringing 1, maybe 2 in, hopefully a backup goalie and Odegaard or someone else. He said, obviously this market and the context makes it very difficult, but we are looking at options and we'll see what we can do. We are looking at various positions because the movements that we've made in this transfer window with some players leaves us a bit short in certain areas. So again, I don't think that makes, we've got 2 goalies. Yes, people can step up at under 23s level, but we've got 2 first team goalies. One isn't levels. So hopefully that one comes in. I personally think we need a central midfielder regardless of Odegaard. Hopefully we're assessing an 8.5/10. Left back is an area we're looking at, not due to Tierney or Saka, but if anything happens to one of them, we're down to our bare bones. Is that a region? I know Cedric played well in his last game, and this one's probably irrelevant, but Cedric, Maitland-Niles and Bellerin, while they've all had great moments and not so good moments at fullback, 3-man, 1 position, nobody's really nailed it down. Could we be looking at a striker with speculation over at least 2 of our 3 centre forwards in the squad's futures? I don't know, but various positions. Maybe a bit of it is to make us not look as desperate as we are, because we don't know who we're negotiating with, or Arteta obviously does. So we'll have to see. And for me as well, Arteta, he's the manager. He's not a head coach anymore. So he has to be as hands-on as Edu. So I hope we've got several targets, potential loans, potential permanents, potential, can you do 2 deals for the price of 1 sort of thing? Can you bring in 2 creative players? I would love us to bring in Odegaard. You can play as a traditional 10 and you bring us a number 8 or an 8.5 or just a number 8 that's able to be box to box. And he's also said, he was asked on why the focus was on outgoings rather than incomes. He said, we cannot carry on with 31 players in the squad. This is unmanageable. When you have to leave some of the foreign players out, it makes it even more difficult. For a few weeks, maybe it's okay, but to do it for months and maintain the health and ambition and the chemistry around the place, it is really complicated. One of the main objectives was to make some decisions of how we're going to offset that fact. And this is kind of carried on in what he was speaking about, people, in relation to, you can see Saliba and Kolasinac and obviously Socrates and Ozil. On allowing Socrates to leave, people, he said, first of all sorry, he said, first of all, I want to thank him because he's such a great professional and great person to work with. It's a shame because this season we have a lot of central defenders. We are overloaded with foreign players, and I had to make a decision. It was a really tough one. And to be fair, he took it really, really well. He has always been really supportive and helpful. From the bottom of my heart, I wish him well. It has been a pleasure to work with him, and I wish him the best for his future and his family in the next chapter. Sorry, for him and his family in the next chapter. So, you know what, soccer artists, leave with your head held high. You won the FA Cup for the man, them. You did your thing, man. So, yeah. And obviously, in terms of ball playing, he's probably not that, so he needed to go. When asked on Mesut Ozil, he said, you know, he's spoken about, as I said, the quarantine restrictions made it difficult to obviously for that you know, for it to quite go over the line, but it's more or less done. He's then said for different reasons, you know, he said yes, for many reasons. There's a history here, what happened in the past few years, how things developed. I think the team should evolve for the future, and his position at the club, a player with such an importance that is not playing, that is not in the squad, it is a really difficult situation to sustain for both parties because the player wants to play and we cannot give him the minutes. Obviously that situation has to be resolved. He obviously said he's a great player, really talented player, a player who has done a lot for the football club at the moment. I want to take the team in a different direction. If we were to have more options, then maybe he was part of some plans. He was part of some plans at the start and he wasn't at the end. So something has changed, people. He said, and then on asked on the smaller group, he said, for me, the important thing is that everyone feels involved and that they have a chance. And again, that's why you need a smaller squad, because, you know, some man are not going to get looks in, and that can, you know, that sort of slackness can kind of filter into other guys. He said they're all fighting for a place, but at the end of the day, they need to feel that they have the opportunity when they have a chance, that they have the opportunity when they perform to get the chance to play. When you're completely out of that, that is out of the equation, and it makes it really difficult to find their motivation. So of course, smaller squad, more minutes. It's as simple as that. We're going to get into this in a second, people, but I'm badly trying to find these comments, man. Apparently, I'm not trying to talk about this with you lot, people. He's asked on, you know, various positions and whatnot, but there was a specific comment apparently he made, people. There was a specific comment. Right, he spoke about Balogun. He said because of on why Balogun actually hasn't been in any match day squads, people. He said because of the competition we have now, and because there are other players that haven't had many minutes. They played in the FA Cup. It takes time. We have to respect that with Eddie. He's not been playing a lot recently, and he's in front of him at the moment, and we have to be calm and respectful. So again, Balogun hasn't tipped ahead of Eddie in the pecking order for whatever reason. On if he's spoken about agreeing a deal to leave, he said, as far as I know, no. You know, the less said about Balogun, the better. You know, we'll be here long after Balogun. I hope he stays, but you know, it is what it is, people. These are the comments. If you look, give me a second. I'm actually going to send this to myself. But yeah, people, I finally found the Arteta comments on the speak about. Let me put them into my Google Doc and then open it on my computer. But before I do that, you know, that was a very, very, very long read, people. So as you could see, what was I say? I said that was about 37 minutes for when I clipped that up, you know. So as you could see, you know, whether Odegaard happens, we'll have to see. But it's a new guy every week, really and truly. We'll have to see. Let me scroll up, people. I know you lot are going mad in the comments. Please keep your comments coming. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Twitch gang, I see you. You know, like AM has said, come on, like up the thing. The ratio isn't looking certified. Come on, people. I see your super chat. Apologies for missing it out. You said, big up yourself, my brother. You talk the most sense for anyone that calls themselves Deluded Gooner. I appreciate your super chat, my guy. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, better yet, for your kind words. And you know, it's funny you say that, because I think in a crazy way, it's all about balance in life. Because for every positive comment like that I get, you know, you get some twat who goes, oh, perfect name for you. I can understand why you're called Deluded Gooner. Like I said previously, if I had £1 for every one time them things there were said, hey, I'd be buying Arsenal from Kroenke or forcing him to get rid. So I appreciate your super chat, my guy. Come on, man. There's 400 of you here. There's only 200 likes. Come on, people. Can we get that up? Support the thing, man. I appreciate you. I Love Gaming is saying A200. You're saying check AFC Bell. We'll do in a sec. But let me actually bring what I wanted to bring to you guys first and foremost, people. Apologies, 1 second. Here we go. Switch screen business. And once again, was that because I don't want it to speak for you lot. But apparently, on whether he found out who the AFC leaker was, he said, I have a sort of idea. Yes. Now, I don't want to speculate, people, and it's important to make sure I've actually made a mental note of this. I don't want to speculate, but is that Mesut Ozil and Mesut Ozil's agents, or Mesut Ozil and Mesut Ozil's agent, or Ozil or his agent? Either way, Arteta promised to find them and they're gone, people. Moving away from that, though, big up Football London and Chris Wheatley as well for bringing that segment. I need to actually find that exact quote on the leaks. Well, that's all he said. Overkill, isn't it, people? A couple of months ago, you said you were trying to find out who was leaking information at the club. Were you ever successful with that? He said, I have a sort of idea. Yes. So, well, it could have been. I don't want to speculate, and I definitely don't want to tarnish people's names because we don't know. But, it's no coincidence. Kolasinac, Socrates, Ozil, these that were frozen out. Well, more so 2 of the 3, and they're all gone. They all seem to be pals, whether it's wage cuts, whether it's leaking information, is what it is. I think it was very interesting seeing what's his face, Mustafi's sort of tribute to Ozil as well, and whatnot. So make of that what you will. Tired of speaking about Balogun, but we've spoken about Balogun already. You know what? We've spoken about Balogun. We've said that already in terms of competition. We might as well continue. He said, no, if anything regarding his contractual situation with the club, I just want to convince him he has a future with the club, not sending him the opposite message. Well, I don't believe in giving man opportunities just for giving them opportunities, because it would be sinister. Clubs would do things like give Balogun chances. He signs a new deal, he's out of it. Either way, I don't want to be held to ransom by Balogun or his agents and saying, if you don't do this, I'm not going to do that. But mainly, I'm vexed at the club because we've got into this situation. Balogun should have signed a new deal in the summer and went on loan. As someone that watches the 23s and 18s, I can tell you that, he needed to. When you look at his peers, Coyle, John Jules, Coyle, Smith, Ballard, McGuinness, Clark, these men that are in and around the same age that have been playing 23s for a while now, they've all gone out on loan. We've been reactive with Balogun sort of thing. And I must admit, I thought Balogun, this was going to be his last season anyways. And I thought, you know what? He'll play this season with the 23s, do what he needs to do, and then he's out. That's why we're in this situation. I love Balogun. I want Balogun to stay. I think he could be a future player for this club or make us a lot of money. If not, it is what it is. I'm more angry at this club for not actually getting any money, not being proactive about bringing this man, sorting out his future. And again, he's going to make someone is going to get him in and make a lot of profit eventually. But it is what it is, people. I don't believe in giving man demands. As you can see, Arteta's gone on to say he's been training with the first team. He's been showing hunger. He has made his debut. But if he's going to leave, it is what it is, people. It could go down to the wire. Who knows, people? I am getting quite tired of speaking about this. He might go off and be a success. He might not. Either way, I wish him the best because he's come from Hayland Academy. But he said before he wasn't training with the first team, we changed that. And you saw it, you saw Balogun, he kind of shows his age because now he's training with the first team. But didn't you see, I'm sure you all used to see them small little indirects he used to put on Twitter and Instagram when his teammates were uploading pictures training with the first team. He said, must be nice, and all of these sort of throwing shade. So he is someone that screams a bit of an attention seeker. He screams someone that just wants a bit of love. He does scream someone that is a bit immature. But I like that, one thing I want to see Balogun go and do is be proactive about your future. Don't let Arsenal lie to you. If they believe in you, fair play. But I will say this, minutes are currency and numbers don't lie. You've played 60 odd 70 minutes. You've not been on the bench where there's been 9 subs, where there's been injuries to attacking players, where there's been players out of form. This tells you everything they need to know. Eddie Nketiah has been poor this season. He's still ahead of you in the pecking order. I think Arteta wants to bring in a striker anyways, and there's numerous ones that you're fighting with and near you. So I think all roads should point to you potentially leaving the club. If they give you a plan, okay, cool. There's a lot of people in the pathway now, but you signed this deal, you'll go out on loan. Year 1, you go out on loan. Year 2, you're here. Year 3, you're there. Fair play. But, for Balogun, what I will say to that young man is, whether you want to stay at Arsenal or not, or leave, do it because you feel in your heart it's the right decision, and don't just use your heart, use your brain, because if you use your heart, I'm sure you want to stay at Arsenal. Many, many are here, few are going to be chosen. The club doesn't care about Folarin Balogun. They just care about the fact that you're a young striker that could progress to the first team or elsewhere. And that's how ruthless football is. So if you want to stay because you want to stay. Don't stay just because Arsenal are gassing you. And if you want to leave, make sure you go to a club that has a perfect pathway for you, where if you're not playing straight away, you will see some progression, because Jadon Sancho weren't playing straight away at Dortmund. A man was saying, oh, he's left to sit on the bench. Now look at him. Go and find the pathway, and don't just listen to all of these clubs, because these clubs just see you as a money spinner. They see English youngsters, what don't really want to sit around at clubs. They kind of get in there. The foreign clubs are getting their revenge back for years of Premier League teams pinching their young players, especially those in Holland. They'll just see you as a gold mine. They don't care about Balogun. They see someone they can get for free, someone that could eventually be sold for millions. So if you're going to sign for another club, make sure you're signing for that club because you see a pathway, because you've genuinely looked into it, not because they're promising you everything, not because your agent is saying go there, not leaving because your agent. And I know it's a lot for a young man to undertake, but that's the decision he has to make. The less said about Balogun, the better, people. Like he said, he's showing a real hunger and desire to be with us. We're trying to get something done because he wants to stay. We have to go step by step. I think he's made some big steps in the last few months where he wasn't even training. Then he had a few good games for us. So the steps are there, and we want to try and keep him. Next year, you have to be playing senior football somewhere. You can't be playing 23s. So it is what it is. On buying a left back, he said, with the departure of Kolasinac, a little bit short with a left-footed fullback at the moment. We can use Ainsley there. We can use Bakayo there. We can use Cedric there, who's played in that position. We have some options, but a natural option to Tierney, obviously we don't, but we can adapt. So long-term, we should be looking at that role. Right now we can adapt. And he says, does that mean you are looking for a left back? That means the option is open. We're looking to see what's available. So clearly the priorities are a backup goalie and Odegaard, or someone of Odegaard's skill set, if it permits, a left back. Or for me, we've all wanted a backup left back anyways, because we didn't believe in Kolasinac. But from now to the summer, we need to be getting fullback targets up there and whatnot, people. On Cedric, he bigged up Cedric. He said, well, yes, since he's joined, he's had various injuries and some difficult times. It took him a little bit of time to adapt, to get completely free. Now the chance is to play. The best thing with Cedric is the way he takes his profession, the way he trains, the way he prepares himself. So every time we've had to use him, he was always ready. He was always fit to compete, even when not playing for many parts of the season. When he had to play 120 minutes, he was completely ready. And the other night, I think he had a really good game. Can't take anything away from what you've said. On Odegaard, as you can see, sorry, but I can't comment about players that play for different clubs. Typical diplomatic answer from a football manager, people. On Smith Rowe, let's go step by step. Emil has done really well. He deserves this chance. He's taking it and grabbing it with both hands in a really convincing way. So let him be. Things will come naturally. And that's right. The applaud. And that's what I like about Arteta. He's been, not that he doesn't buy into the hype of Smith Rowe. He's been gassing Smith Rowe since he came to the club. But he's like, we all call him Kevin De Bruyne, call him Emil. The contracts, the plaudits, all of these things, the hype, all of these things will come if you just do your job and keep grounded, because it must be a bit unhealthy for a 20-year-old. You're seeing Gary Nev, and take it all in your stride. You're seeing Gary Nev say, yo, you could play for the Invincibles and things like that. I'm not saying that's not impossible. I think that's reaching, basically. I don't think Smith Rowe right now can even play in the Invincibles, but take that in your stride. But he also needs to remember, like you've seen with Maitland-Niles, Joe Willock, even to a degree, Bukayo Saka. Right now, Smith Rowe is at the honeymoon stage, as I keep saying to you. Even Arteta's been through it. It happens, whether you're a new manager, young player, new signing, whatever. People don't necessarily talk about the things you're doing wrong or the things you can improve, because right now, everything you touch turns to gold. Everybody's singing your praises. But at some period, it gets flipped. It gets flipped, people. And that energy, and again, I'm not talking about positive, constructive criticism. You can do that. I'm talking about the man that are proclaiming you. Man are saying he's better than Kevin De Bruyne, he's better than Grealish, he's better than Foden, kill him up for England, new contract, play for the Invincibles. These are all things to take in your stride, and these might not necessarily be wrong. But the same way you've seen that, people will say the others. And you could even say that's already happened with Smith Rowe, because now guys are rating his thing. Before that, man is saying, he's not fit. He's never been, given a chance. There must be a reason. We might as well sell him. That's football, innit? Football's opinions. People are allowed that. But I like how Arteta is, giving him the opportunity to play, giving him the confidence that you can see with the way Smith Rowe talks about his teammates and also his manager, but also calm it down. You can't control hype in today's day and age. Everybody's the next everybody. Everybody's the next everyone. But what you can control is how you intake that information, sort of thing. So it is what it is in that regards. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Please make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Like Stylish you has said, 400 plus people all here for DG. Everyone who hasn't hit the like button, let's rise that more. More likes, more exposure for DG Nation. Simple. Can't add anything on that. It's as simple as that, people. It takes a second. Like Emma's saying, big up the members. You lot ride for me. You know, Stylish and Emma moving like some bouncers at the club. You know, I wouldn't want to get into a fight with these, man. He says it takes a second to get the to get them up, people. Simple as that. A lot of you are saying go on AFC Bell's Twitter. I'm gonna do that in a second, people. Let me just assess what's actually going on. Make sure you lot all, if you want to see how does it make sense, if you're not doing anything around 1 p.m, make sure you head over to Rance's channel. Me, him, and Matisse will be on his channel speaking more about general football, I'm sure. AFC Bell. Come on, AFC Bell. The man who was on it with the party business. Guess who? That's not Mesut Ozil. I can't see anything. My guy, I don't know. That don't look like Ozil. So it looks like they're playing up. It looks like Fenerbahce are playing up to this already, people. And they've got a match day. So maybe, you know, maybe they'll announce my man today. Oh, wait, that's not the real AFC Bell, man. Someone drop me AFC Bell's Twitter handle, man. Because I can't find it. Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up. I swear it's the AFC Bell. Apologies, people. Apologies. I'm trying to find this for you. Yeah, unless one of you lot help me. It's just as I said that. Odegaard. All right, cool. I'm gonna copy and paste that for you, people. This will be the last. I guess this is the last bit of information with Odegaard because there's so much, really. So let's quickly get that one up there. Apologies, people. 1 second. And man, let's go. Let's go. This is what one of you told me to, bro. I can't lie. You was gonna get my guy. I thought you was running band still. My bad. I can't understand Arabic, so unless you can speak Arabic and help me, I have to press translate. So forgive me if you know the Arabic to English is not making sense. You know the computers aren't the smartest, but apparently we can independently confirm that Martin Odegaard will meet with his father Hans and his agent to make a final decision about his future very soon. And to be fair, he shouldn't make a hasty decision. The player's agent drew the club's attention because his client was available on loan this month. There are 5 offers on the table, the most important of which are Sociedad and Arsenal. So does he return to familiar surroundings or does he take a chance, you know, where his Donny currently is in Ceballos? Apparently, information indicates that the player is open to the idea of playing in the Premier League, but there is no official decision yet. The interest in Seville and a number of German and Dutch clubs is not as strong and momentous as the 2 concrete offers from Arsenal and Sociedad. You know, maybe it's a bit different because those others would like him and see what he can bring. Arsenal need creativity. You know, Sociedad begged him to stay, wanted him to stay. These 2 teams want him. So we'll have to see. But in relation to him, you know, seeing is believing. We'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. What are you guys saying in the comments as well? Big up yourselves, people. Let me scroll all the way down. Big up yourself, Jay. You know, big up yourself. We've got another super chat. I appreciate you as well. Oh, wait, that's already it. Sure, I thought I saw another super chat. Yeah, I must be bugging out, man. I must have saw the same super chat. Apologies, my guy, but nonetheless, we move. I thought I did. Could be wrong. 500. What's saying? It seems that if you're not a yes man or favorite senior squad member, like how Arteta moves with you. The only trait I don't like about Arteta is he's too uppity. Allegedly, you know. Jay, I can't lie to you. You're gonna have to calm down. You're gonna have to calm down with. You know, you've been moving a bit militant with the moderation, with the moderators. A lot of people have been onto you. Please don't kick people out for different opinions, only for derogatory language, spamming, ridiculously spamming, and those sort of things. You know, Jay, I've been getting a lot of complaints on Instagram about you in particular, my guy. I still believe in you. You know, I'm still gonna believe in you. I'm not gonna rub you out. But yeah, man, Patton. So yeah, man, we'll have to see. Dom has said late to the stream, DG, gonna have to get them notifications on. To be fair, even people with the notifications are saying they're being done dirty. So make of that what you will. Make of that what you will. That is the wrong tab I meant to open. How many likes are there? 320 likes. We're moving up in the world, people. Apologies, there actually was another super chat. I knew I saw that. Big up yourself, UG. It's not letting me bring it up because I'm going on another tab to find it. But you said, what is your preferred ins and outs this window? My preferred ins and outs, guy, are what we've seen already, really. Like, you know, I wanted Saliba to go and play some football if it wasn't going to happen here. I wanted us to find a resolution over Ozil, whether he's going to be reintegrated back into the team or moved on. That's happened. You know, Socrates needed to be moved on. It's happened. I would have liked to have seen Kolasinac leave permanently, but it is what it is. Would have liked to have seen Mustafi thrown into that and moved on as well. Like a number, you know, a creative mid, whether it's an 8 that can do that, or someone like Odegaard. I wanted some more creative options in this team, and I want a backup goalie, a competent backup goalie. You know, we heard Ronderson is allegedly meant to be third choice, so go and bring me the second choice, Donny. We'll have to see, people. We'll have to see. Tim's, I appreciate you for bringing the AFC Bell stuff as well. If you don't find it, this is where I was looking at, like where I was looking to. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. Said, what have you said? Yeah, man. Let's see what happens there. I don't know full of that, man. What else are you guys saying, people? What else are you guys saying? 120. I appreciate you, man. Can we get that to 400? Get that to 400. Samuel said, got the notifications today, so maybe they're fixing things up. People don't rely on notifications. Just make sure you're checking my channel. Just keep coming back, because this notification, even when I look at my analytics, they're actually, what's the word? YouTube notifications are actually not a big driver in relation to traffic, and you look at my videos. So that means a percentage of the 30K of subscribers that I have, you lot are not being notified. You don't know what the hell is going on. And obviously, when I factor in there's different time zones and all these things, you're just getting shagged, people. So yeah. JA said, do you think Odegaard and Saka would operate in the same space? I'm not too sure what you mean by that, but the best players are able to link up with each other. It is what it is. You have said Buendia is Odegaard isn't good enough. Call me a hater. I haven't seen enough. Fair play, you know. As long as you're open to your opinion changing, if you do get to see enough, you know, I don't know who's better out of Odegaard than Buendia. I would like both of them to come. I'm happy with either one. We're starved of creativity. You know, I would like Buendia because I think he do a lot of options, man. I think long term he could play that Santi role, deep lying. He can obviously play as a traditional playmaker. He can do that wide playmaker as well, man. Stylish has said, who's my money on for the Euros? Psst, that's a long way away, but you can't look past France, in my opinion, just based on the guys that they have, man. You know, beggars can't be choosers. You're right. You're kind of right, man. You know, I like live from Planet X. You know, Twitch doesn't mess around. Twitch notifications always come through. So make sure you're following me on Twitch, Deluded Gooner 187, people. Deluded Gooner 187. Has said, come on, Arsenal, you can smash into the top 4-6, into the top 6 soon. Sorry, United fan. Hope so, probably not. Big up Deluded, big up yourself, Chris. Tim's has said, Odegaard, Arawa, or Buendia, who would you prefer out of these? If it was up to me, Arawa, you know, yeah, bro, it'd be that one, but that one there is a myth, man. That one there is a myth. That one there is a myth. You know, you can't look past Portugal, but for me, I'm going with France, carbs. I wouldn't want to play against France at all. It's crazy. You know, I'm not on paying 50 million for Buendia either, my guy. I rate him, but 50 million for Buendia, you might as well just get our then, you know, really and truly. And things like that. Oliver said, what do you reckon? Win at the weekend, bearing in mind we have them next week too. We'll speak about the Southampton game more in my previews and stuff, so make sure you're taking a look out. But it's a big test. I want 2 wins. You know, it's going to be high energy, high demanding. They've played this week. They've played as well this week as well. So and I know they played a rotated team. So in theory, you might be a bit fresher. But we're defending the FA Cup. We need to move serious. You know, and obviously in the league, we drop points against them. Can we learn our lessons from when we played them in the reverse fixture? You know, 18 minutes in, we switched off and allowed Theo Walcott to score. Can we fix up? Gabriel starts for me on Saturday. Remember, he got sent off in that game. Pardon me, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So learn our lessons, people. I'm not too sure for fitness and the rest of it and all of those sort of things, but I would like that to be the case, people. You know, we might as well speak about Aouar very quickly, people. Just because I saw this on ESPN yesterday, and a pair of you have been saying Aouar. So we might as well cover this very quickly, people. Let me zoom in. I like you, ESPN, but I ain't trying to hear your guys, man. Shut up, man. Anyways, moving away from that, though, people. Arsenal's pursuit of Hossam Aouar is set to be complicated by the Lyon midfielder's desire to wait for interest from Real Madrid and Barcelona to materialize this summer before deciding his next move. Obviously, he's playing well, his team's doing all right, and he's got a Euros. And it's what many fans knew, is that last season we had the best chance. You know, COVID allowed us a chance to go at this player because the other teams had other things to do. And whatnot. And I think this article kind of dispels a couple of rumors people sort of, because apparently the North London club are in the market for a creative midfielder. I wouldn't say he's a creative midfielder as such, but he does have creative aspects personally, you know. Having missed out on Aouar at the end of last season after making just one offer in the region of £35 million for the 25-year-old, 35 million euros for the 22-year-old. That bid was rejected because it fell well short of the 60 million valuation, and Arsenal did not return with an improved offer. We heard rumours we did. Apparently, Mikel Arteta remains an admirer of Aouar, but sources have told ESPN that the player was surprised Arsenal did not make much more of a concerted, I don't know how to pass English, concerted effort. I would have loved that to just say concrete, let's just say a concrete attempt to sign him. And although he has not ruled out a move to the Emirates, he's keen to explore other options. And why wouldn't you? You know, there's Champions League clubs and the rest of it. Will Real Madrid, and I think Madrid probably should go for you. I don't think Barca will, but I would hold up for both of them. Apparently, Lyon are, as we know, reluctant to let him leave this month. You know, as we know, at the end of the summer, they'll probably have to sell him because he'll have just 2 years left on his existing deal. And they're apparently likely to ask for a similar asking price. They're going to have to consider the COVID pandemic, the financial fallout because of that, and also the fact that he's got two years left, people. It went on to say, I can't see it, but I think I did see online. Apparently, he said he hasn't ruled out moving to the Emirates anymore. He's still open to it, but, you know, he wants to hold out for them. And it's spoken about things like Julian Brandt and Buendia. We've spoken about these targets before. What's the point kind of going over them again, people? Let me take a couple more questions before I get out of here as well. What do you make of Cook from Bournemouth? I like him. Injuries have shagged him really and truly. You know, that's it, really and truly. And Nketiah to start. Fair play. I kind of spoke about that already, my guy. Touched on that. And again, if you've got the mole out, you got the mole out, man. Is what it is. What have you said? I don't think Odegaard will come to Arsenal. If he comes to the Premier League, it will be United, Oli, Norwegian factor. I mean, by that logic, they should have confirmed Haaland then, innit? You know, if United want him, you know, they can get him in their own right. But I don't think it boils down to if he's Norwegian or isn't. Of course, there's the camaraderie in that regards. Big up yourself. Big up DG Nation. Buendia has experience in English football. That's an advantage. It is, but it's only relevant if you actually do the business. Because again, I'm not saying he's Willian, and obviously it's an extreme example. But look at Willian, sort of thing. You know, he's not a generational player, but he is a good player. You know, I feel so. It is what it is. Big up Talawa TV. Please make sure you're following them and everything they're doing, please. Is Smith Rowe an eligible yard man? I saw on Wiki that he has a Jamaican granddad, but the information has been removed. That's the rumors. If he is a yard man, I mean, we've got to stain him even more. And I think it's Wes Morgan's birthday. Happy birthday to Wes Morgan, the best centre half to play in the Premier League. You know, Premier League winner and those things there. So probably hope so. Hope there's something there. JA said, do you like Arteta using inverted right backs? Why not? I'm all for that. Treeks said, why do we leave all our transfer business to the last minute? If we'll be more decisive, they come early, blending, and by the time the window shuts, they are integrated in time. Fly the flag, salute. I appreciate you, my guy. Can't add anything onto what you said. You've said it there, but it's Arsenal, innit? So you said it there, man. You said it there, my guy. I can't add on anything you've said. You've said it literally. What have you said? You said, how are you doing? The fall off Loftus-Cheek has 1 year left on his contract at the end of the season. He's interested at Fulham, can be a good 8 for rotation if good, might start. You know, the thing with Loftus-Cheek is just injuries. That's it. And that Arsenal injuries going to be worse. I think, you know, he's a baller. You know, it's only injuries. That's it. Literally only injuries. I agree what you're saying. He's a baller. He does well. I think he played well against Spurs. Should have scored against United last night, really, as a number of players should do. You know, his injuries are the reason why he's not at Chelsea at the moment in time. So it's just injuries. You can Loftus-Cheek's a baller, but it's just injuries. Tavernier, I assume you're talking about the Rangers one. Decent player, you know, decent player. He's scored a lot of goals this campaign, you know. So we'll have to see what happens, man. So yeah, people. Zaka said Bellerin doesn't have a bloody clue about inverted right back. Tell him stay wide. To be fair, he seems to stay. He seems like you have to force Bellerin to stay wide, and he is very more inverted. People, really and truly, you man are not on Loftus-Cheek at all, innit? Man are not down for Loftus-Cheek. Sad, man. No more former club rejects, please. All right, fair play. But yeah, people, man, we've been here for an hour. I can't lie to you. I'm going to be at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be online with Rant. So I'm going to have to wrap this one up. I'll probably be back later because it's Arsenal versus Southampton. So like I said, don't rely on notifications. Please make sure you're paying attention. Obviously, we've touched on Odegaard. We've touched on a couple of other things. So I hope I've given you decent content. As well, people, once again, I'd like to say sorry for doing this at 11:30 a.m. I wanted it to be yesterday, but the forces that be disallowed it from me. But it's nice to see a lot of come and support the thing heavy. There's been 400 odd of you. I really appreciate all of you lot. Please make sure you keep supporting. Please make sure you hit the like button. Please keep making sure you're bringing through with your comments and whatnot. I appreciate you lot. I appreciate every member of the DG Nation. I love the members. I love the Twitch gang. I love you subscribers. If you're here for the first time, hit the subscribe button as well. I appreciate all of you lot. And then I will say as well, thank you very much, because in the last couple live streams I've been doing, I've been seeing more people here than usual. So shout out to you lot for doing what you can to obviously boost the engagement levels and all of those sort of things. Joe is saying, looking forward to the NWO stream, Rants, Mar, and DG. You know, so good. You have to leave the best till last. And yeah, big up Rants and Matisse. I'll be there at 1. So yeah, man, I've got to come off air, freshen up a bit, get a little food in my belly, and then we go again. So the good news is that, you know, you can head over to another YouTube account and there'll be more DG. On the other hand, you know, the bad news is that I'm going to have to love and leave you. But if you've just tuned in, hit the is it even a reverse button, a rewind button on YouTube, wherever it is, do what you need to do, people, and I'll be back soon. Jay, please make sure, listen, you're my guy. I'm never going to get rid of you as a moderator, but I'll have to if you don't pattern, man. Please make sure you're, you know, turning good performances, apply better balance, man. Jay, you're my guy. You know, I appreciate you. Zach is saying subscribe. You won't regret. Facts. You know, big up DG gang. You know, come on, man. DG Nation, though, I'm gonna have to love and leave you, man. I'm out. Take care. God bless, and all of those things.